self-awareness. It also takes some courage, because it's much easier to blame the other person for whatever's going on, or what they're doing or not doing. And the third thing he said, and he was talking about, again, any type of relationship, but he said, look, usually what stands between you and the kind of relationship you really want to have with another person, he said, is probably about a 10-minute sweaty palm conversation you're too afraid to have. And he said, if you get really good at those 10-minute sweaty palm conversations, and with certain people you have to have a lot of them because you're in relationship with them over, right? He said, but that's often what it takes. He said, but it takes a lot of courage, and we're often not always willing to do that, or it feels too scary to do that. But that's a big piece of what it takes for us to have spiritual relationships and partnerships. Not that we have to have it all figured out or know the answer. Just being willing to engage in the inquiry, engage in the conversation. And to ask for what we want, but also to create some boundary and make it safe for it to work for us. I think about like what you did with the timer as an example, right?
Yeah, so you may have noticed Mike talks a little bit more than I do. And, and that happens at home too, it's not just on stage. And I noticed that there were things that I wanted to say, but in my family, I grew up and we didn't interrupt each other. And then I got trained in counseling, and you just listen. And Mike's family was very different.
Yeah, in my family, if you didn't interrupt, you never got to say anything. So that's how I roll.
So I felt like there were times when I would start talking, and he would go, oh, yeah, me too. And then he would go on to talking about his day, and then we would keep talking about his day. So I came up with this idea to put a timer on, and during those 15 minutes, I only spoke. And sometimes that I didn't have that much to say, but I had that 15 minutes, and he couldn't speak during that whole time, which was kind of fun.
It actually was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, things like that, again, figuring out how do you operate? How do the people you're in a relationship operate? And what's going to have it work? Right? Because it really is, look, I mean, a lot of what we're talking about at some level is about emotional intelligence. And what is that? That's self-awareness and self-management. What do I need? How am I feeling? What's going on for me? And it's also relational awareness and relationship management, being aware of what's going on with another person and what do they need. And it's kind of like, I always think about it, it's like dancing. Every person we're in a relationship with, however significant the relationship is or even superficial the relationship is, we're dancing with that person. And with some people, it's easier to dance with. But if we don't teach the other person, here's how I dance, how do you dance, then we're going to keep stepping on each other's toes, literally. And authenticity is our access. And it's not something that like you are an authentic person or you have an authentic relationship. It's not a thing. It's a practice. Because we can stand up here and talk about authenticity. I can write a book on authenticity, which I did. That doesn't make me some kind of an expert. It literally just means I get to practice like we all get to practice in the moment. Am I being authentic right now? My spiritual counselor, Eleanor, who I've been working with for the last couple of years, she says this great thing to me all the time. She says, Mike, the truth can't be rehearsed. It's a right now phenomenon. So are we willing to show up right now with whatever's going on, and then right now, and it changes. And our relationships evolve over time, as do the circumstances of our lives. Right, so authenticity is a big piece. The other big piece has to do with appreciation. Appreciation. Right, how many of you notice that you would appreciate a little more appreciation in your life? Right? I've never met anyone that says, no, I'm just too appreciated. It's totally not. So what do you think? What makes it difficult? What makes it challenging for appreciation to get expressed? Either for us to express our appreciation to others, even people we love, and for people to express appreciation to us. What gets in the way of that? Sorry? Self-involvement. Machoism, yes. Ego. What else? Mental health. Yeah. We're focused a lot on ourselves. Our ego gets in the way. Absolutely. Right? But sometimes we may be feeling unappreciated or like people aren't seeing certain things that we're doing, and we get upset about it. Right? And we either don't say anything, or if we do, we get very critical. You should really appreciate me more. Right? How well does that work? But what if you could more vulnerably, more honestly ask for the appreciation that you want? right?
I noticed in my previous relationships that I would feel very resentful, that I felt like I would be doing a lot of things, and I felt like I was pretty good at appreciating the other person, and I didn't feel like it was back to me. So early on in my relationship with Mike, I thought, this has been a problem in my previous relationships, and what can I do to make it different? So we were talking one night at dinner, and he hadn't commented on the dinner that I made, and I was starting to feel a little resentful because we didn't have kids, we were both working, and I made dinner, and I was thinking, uh-oh, here it goes, it's going to go down this path. So in the middle of dinner, I raised my hand, because again, remember, I'm not the talker in the relationship. So
she had to stop me, right? Yeah. Yo, time out.
Raised my hand, and I said, excuse me, I would like to be acknowledged. And he looked at me very strange, and I said, I made this dinner, and I took time, and I made it all pretty, and I said, I just noticed I really want to be acknowledged, and I'm like thinking in my head, if I don't ask this now, we're going to be married one day, and we're going to have kids one day, and I'm going to make all these dinners, and I'm not ever going to be thanked, and the kids aren't going to appreciate me. So I said, I would like to be acknowledged right now, and it worked.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, can you do that? Right? But the nice thing is that it wasn't just that dinner, by the way. She'll do it even now,
yeah.
Right? Which I do appreciate. If there's a time, it's like she'll just raise her hand and say, I would like to be acknowledged. And I've learned on the other side, by the way, if she starts to get upset with me, sometimes I'll just say, baby, was there something that I missed? Was there something that I should appreciate yes, and then she'll tell me what it is, right?
And sometimes it's right now of, like he'll be out, and he travels a lot, right? And I'm home with the girls mostly, and he'll call me up and say, this most amazing thing happened. I just got on the stage right after Goldie Hawn, and I'm like, wow, and I give him all the appreciation and said, and you know what? I just cleaned the whole guinea pig cage all by myself.
Yes. And she gets a standing ovation right there on the phone, Yes, yes. Who knew that's all you had to do?
I know. I'll clean the guinea page more often.
But but a lot of it has to do with getting into that other person's world. What's going on in their world? What's important to them? Right? One of the questions that we love to ask each other is, how can I support you? Or what do you need? And it can look a lot of different ways. And sometimes it is some overt, direct appreciation. I need this. I want this. Say this. Notice this. Sometimes it literally is, I need some space. And for us, with as busy as our lives are and having girls that are 5 and 7, it's not always easy to get that. But to find that and to take time for ourselves, and that sometimes for many of us can feel selfish. We put a lot of attention on other people, which is beautiful. But the question often is, what are we doing for ourselves? And how can we ask for that support? Again, it's vulnerable, but it's also a way to really be appreciated. One simple thing that I find as I travel around and talk to people, especially about appreciation, a very simple but important thing that often gets in our way is that not all of us are all that comfortable receiving compliments from other people. How many of you notice when someone gives you a compliment from time to time, you get a little funny about it? You ever notice that? Some people are like, not me. Bring it on, right? It varies, right? We're all a little different. But do you know what you're supposed to say when someone gives you a compliment? Thank you. Then?
It is true.
Yes. Oh.
She's got the
That's the advanced version, right? But for people who aren't quite there yet or that wouldn't be comfortable, sometimes it's just literally just practicing saying thank you and really receiving it. Because listen, if you listen to yourself and to other people, what comes after the thank you, if we even do say thank you, is often almost always weird and insincere. Right? We'll give people a compliment right back. And sometimes we mean it, but sometimes it's like completely inappropriate. Think of it like a birthday present. If I came over, some of you you stood up at your birthday this month. If I came over to your house on your birthday with a gift and I said, hey, happy birthday, it would be completely inappropriate for you to go, hold on, and run into the other room and bring a gift, right? I know we do that on the holidays, but for your birthday, it would be, but even worse is we argue with people. You ever do that? Someone gives you a compliment, you start arguing with them, or just, no, not really. What are you expecting them to say in response? Oh, you're right, you're an idiot. What was I thinking? No, but think of it like a gift. Literally receive it like a present, like a gift. It is. Even and especially if you don't agree with them. Your opinion about my compliment, if I give it to you, is actually not that interesting to me. And you want to start to think about, again, how easy if for those of us, and most of us would like more appreciation, do we make it easy for people to appreciate us? And one practice years ago that I started is if someone gives me a compliment about something I don't agree with, my practice is not to argue with them, not to, but. I just shut my mouth, I take a breath, I say thank you, and I'll often walk away from that interaction and think to myself, that's interesting. I don't think that same thing about myself. Maybe I should, because that's a better opinion than the one that I have. Because fundamentally, a lot of this is really about our relationship with ourselves. The more comfortable we are being authentic and real with ourselves, the more comfortable we become being authentic and real with other people. The more appreciative we are of ourselves, the more appreciative we are of the people around us. And for many of us, that's the relationship. That if we can really focus somewhere to have that spiritual relationship with ourselves, then all of a sudden being in relationship with other people is a lot easier. And instead of looking to the other person for, fill me up, take care of me, do these things for me, it's more about an expression of, I love you. I'm not looking for you to take care of my needs. That's my job. And then we get to be in relationship with each other, and we get to learn and grow, and at times have conflict and learn new things and be challenged, and all the things that go along with relationships. The ups, the downs, the twists and turns. It's not about some harmonious, never conflict place. Years ago, a teacher of mine said to me, if you are in a relationship that's important to you and there's no conflict at all, someone's lying. Or at the very least, not really speaking up to what's true for them, because inevitably what will happen is there's going to be that tension. So the last little piece, is there anything you want to say before we... I
would have raised my hand.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
What underlies a lot of what we're talking about here has to do with embracing the moment and being grateful for whatever's going on. And it's easy to be grateful for stuff when things are going really well, right? The challenge becomes, can we be grateful for it when it's not going so well, when it doesn't look like how we want it to look? And that's really one of the most challenging, most important parts of spiritual relationship. And I had a moment where I was reminded of this in a pretty profound way a couple years ago with our older daughter, Samantha, who's now 7. So Samantha's 7, Rosie's 5, right? We were actually driving in the car just up on Treat, not far from here. So we used to live in Concord, a couple, 5-6 miles from here. We now live over in Novato and Marin. But so this was like 3.5 years ago. Samantha was 4. And we're driving in the car, and it was just me and her. Rosie was about a year and a half, and at the time, we weren't spending a lot of one-on-one time with the girls, so this was kind of a big deal. I got to spend a little time with Samantha. She was in preschool. They had the week off. It was spring break. And I took her that day to a baseball game. We were going to Berkeley to see Cal and Stanford play baseball. Now, some of you know this about me, my background. I played baseball for many years. I actually played at Stanford. So we're driving in the car, and Samantha's in her little booster seat. She's 4, and she says to me, Daddy, are you going to play in the game? Kind of cute, right? Because that fall, we have a little alumni game down at Stanford, and I had played that fall, so she'd seen me in my Stanford uniform, and she knew we were going to see Stanford play, so she wanted to know if I was going to play. Now, I played at Stanford, but I also got a chance to play professionally for a few years after I got drafted out of Stanford. I ended up getting injured. I was a pitcher, and I hurt my arm. So my baseball career ended when I was 23, and I said to Samantha, oh, no, honey, Daddy's not going to play in the game. She says, well, why not? And I said, well, honey, Daddy doesn't play baseball anymore. Oh, yes, you do. I saw you. I said, well, honey, that wasn't a real game. That was kind of an exhibition. I don't understand. Well, honey, Daddy doesn't do... I don't understand. She was like getting frustrated with me. And I was like, well, honey, Daddy hurt his arm a long time ago, and so I don't... And she goes, oh, you mean you can't play baseball anymore, Daddy? And I said, yeah, that's right. And she said, well, Daddy, are you sad about that? And I said, no. No, I mean, I appreciate you asking. That's very sweet. But I said, I said, look, honey, I was sad when it happened. I mean, it was a pretty big deal. But I said, I'm not sad about it anymore. In fact, you know what? I'm grateful. And she says, grateful? Because even at 4, she knew, right? We talk about grateful a lot. It's, grateful, Daddy. Why are you grateful that you can't play baseball anymore? I don't understand. And I said, well, honey, you know, if Daddy never hurt his arm and I was still playing baseball, I never would have met your mommy. And I said, and I wouldn't be your daddy. And then I burst into tears, literally. And she was like, Daddy, are you okay? And I was shocked at how emotional I got in the moment, right? And I have no idea if she got it, but I know that I got it at a whole deeper level. The challenge in life is, can we remember that in the moment when it doesn't look exactly like we think it's supposed to look? When the person's not acting exactly the way we want them to? Can we be grateful? Can we trust that something bigger's going on? That there's an intelligence out there that we don't even totally understand, and everything's happening the way it's supposed to. That's what it takes to have spiritual relationships. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please join us in singing I Let. I let the love wash over me. 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 I let the truth 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 wash over me.
Grace.
I let the grace wash over me. 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 I let the grace wash over me.
Joy.
I let the joy wash over me. 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 I let the joy wash over me.
Thank you. If you would like prayer support for challenges or celebrations, please ask our heart ministers. They'll be available after the service in the sanctuary and out on the patio. You'll know them because they're wearing the lavender stoles. Now, we are also cultivating a new practice here during our service. Please join me in taking one of the connection cards from the seat pocket in front of you. If you are new, please check the first time box so we can send you our special gift and a gift certificate to attend a Unity event as our guest. We also have a welcome table on the patio, and we look forward to meeting you. If you're already in Unity Connects, putting your name on the card and checking the box is sufficient. We hope that everyone will share with us a prayer request. Please let us know if you're committing to join in our weekly spiritual focus, this week being spiritual relationships. The ushers will receive the cards along with the offering toward the end of the music, so everyone will have an opportunity to fill out their cards. It's now time for our prosperity celebration. For credit card donations or love in action, there are envelopes provided in the seat back or in the back of the chair. At Unity, we know that the divine seeks to provide us each with abundance. Giving is one of the ways we open ourselves to receive the ever-expanding flow of divine provision into our lives. I invite you to take your tithe or offering in your hand and be aware that God is the source of all our good. Let's repeat our affirmation together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
Open up, gonna open up, gonna open up to change. Open up, gonna open up, gonna open up to change. Looking ever deeper, seeking a new way. It's time to shift my thinking, embrace a higher way. Gonna open up, sing it with me. Gonna open up to change. Gonna open up to change. Yes, indeed, we can't get away. Gonna open up, gonna open up, gonna open up to change. When we face the darkness, when we are in pain, loving kindness heals us.